Well, hello, welcome to another episode of Get to Know UIC, Get to Know United in Christ. Today I have the joy of being joined by Jeff and Donna. Jeff and Donna, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we get to spend this time together. This is very cool. Now,
Yeah.
Jeff and Donna, for folks who maybe haven't gotten to know you or you've only got to know you in passing in recent months and years, yeah, how long has it been for the two of you that you've been connected with United in Christ? How long have you been a part of the congregation here?
Past couple of years,
Yeah.
But you've been since
but
you were a little
I've
boy.
been there since I've been likely I think 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
I'm baptized in the church.
Okay. So that you were brought as like, I mean, this is your living memory as this is your church
Yeah.
throughout living
Yeah.
memory. Gotcha.
Baptized
Gotcha.
church.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
But now, Donna, you're a more recent transplant to the congregation. Yeah.
Yes. I hooked up by marriage to the church.
That's right. You're one of those marital transplants. Yes, as we've like to
That's
call
right.
them over these this series. Yeah. And now, remind folks, where were you before this, Donna? Because I know where you're at, but you would move to the area, right?
Well, I grew up here,
Yeah.
but I moved to Florida. I went to Southwest Florida, very close to where you did your internship, I
Exactly.
believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I lived there for 7 years.
That's very, very cool.
and then
Very
came
cool.
back for this guy.
That's very sweet. Look at that. Look at that. And now you've both landed here with us, and that's a very, very cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, as you think about it, though, and Donna, maybe this is for you about, what was it that made you want to be a part of this community that Jeff had known for all of these years, right? I think there have been a couple of folks who have jokingly said, like, going to church almost became like a date for these couples. So what was that for you? What was it like to now see what this community was where he had grown up and been brought up through?
Well, I wanted that church. I had a wonderful church when I lived in Florida,
Yeah.
and I wanted to have that back
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And the church that I had gone to before I moved to Florida was too big for Jeff. He didn't like it, and he said, "We're going to my church."
There
I said,
you go.
"I'm in," and it just felt like home immediately.
Excellent. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so good. That's so cool. It's wonderful that, like, even after traveling, 1,300 miles, you can still find a place that just feels like home again, right?
It did. It
Uh,
just immediately felt like home.
That's so cool. That's so cool. But so as you think about it, though, right? And Jeff, as you think about all the years you've spent in this place, and Donna, yeah, as you think about the years now you've been a part of this community, what is it that makes you want to keep coming back, right? If we're met by this sense of belonging and home, what is it that makes you want to keep coming back to this place of home over and over and week after week again?
I, I think it's the fellowship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a heck of a group.
That's for darn sure. That's a real good way of putting it, right? We are one
Yeah.
heck
I
of a
mean,
group.
I don't know how else to put that. We're a heck of a group.
Yeah.
It's just
You
the
know what I
love
mean?
is just
Yeah.
it just
We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we have people in there that, like, this is what we're going to do,
Yeah.
and this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, put me in, coach. I'll
That's
carry
right.
the
That's
ball.
right. That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
and it's the concern people have for everybody.
Yeah.
If somebody's not there, they worry about you.
Yeah.
They really make you feel that you are part of a family.
Exactly, right?
Mhm.
We are a motley crew, but we are a crew who loves
Yeah.
on one another, right? And are just there.
We're good at it.
Yeah, we're good at it, right? We're good at being a ragtag bunch of folks
Yeah.
loving on each other. That's a very cool thing.
We get things done.
And we get things done, right? Like and we keep hearing that there's just this can-do attitude of this community of like, hey, what's the challenge? All right, let's figure out not if we can do it, but how we're going to do it,
How we're
right?
gonna do
Right.
it.
And that's so cool. That's such a cool thing to be a part of. So as you think about it then, right, as you look at the ways in which this crew continues to step up in new and exciting ways to all the challenges that come next, where is it that you see God at work in the midst of that? Where do you see God moving among this congregation? What ministries do you see that are just such a cool part of life at United in Christ?
I think the outreach
Yeah.
is phenomenal. It's there is never a lack of anything that's needed for the community.
Yeah.
If somebody says, hey, we need diapers, or hey, we need for the food pantries,
Yeah.
or anything, it's like, boom, there's a barrage of whatever we need is
Absolutely.
provided. I mean, God just moves these people to, hey, this is my work. I need your help.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And it is from that starting place of asking, what is God calling us to now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that starts and it shows itself in such creative ways, right? Yeah, it is the things like the food pantries that we support and help out with, but it's like the diaper pantries too. Like, what a cool right? Like of like, hey, folks need diapers and they're darned expensive, right?
Right.
So being willing to gather together as a community and leverage that love for one another to show that love to the world, right? Because sometimes love comes in a Pampers box, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And another place that I really saw God work just recently, before all the coronavirus hit, was our "Won't You Be My Neighbor" this year with the church in West Milton. The outreach between those two churches, that was definitely God's hand there.
Oh, such a cool thing, right?
It was.
In a time and place when we are so used to thinking parochially, as in we are so used to thinking about only our group of folks, right? And looking out for ourselves. How cool was it to be able to reach beyond our walls and just meet our neighbors, both in their space and in our space, not worrying about who's doing what or getting what out of this, but just saying, like, we are part of the same community, right?
Yes.
And yeah, we might be different in a lot of ways, but we are about the same mission, and that mission is God's love for God's people. So to be able to meet with them, that was super cool, wasn't it?
That was phenomenal.
Good,
yes.
Good. Excellent.
That was a good study.
Good. I'm glad.
That's what brought us into getting into the studies. I had been wanting to do them, and Jeff was dragging his feet a little bit, and that just got us both feet first, boom, off and running.
Sometimes you just need a beautiful day in the neighborhood to get you there, right? So we'll thank Mr. Rogers for paving the way for that study.
You had me reading a book. We're going on vacation. Here I am on this airplane.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours reading the book.
Well, shoot, dang.
Look at
that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that speaks volumes, right? It's like we snuck you into it, right? We get you with TV programming, Mr. Rogers. Next thing you know, we have you reading books and all that. But like, I love that because like
everything.
Right. I mean, the fact that you're willing to take it on vacation tells me that like this wasn't work. It was like actually life-giving, right? And the fact that we have folks who want to be involved in that, who want to not just rest on their laurels or just stay complacent and stagnant, but to ask the question that we said before, right? Of asking what's next, right? And so we do the work, and sometimes it's work we have to do on ourselves, and that's what we're doing in these studies so that we can do better work for the sake of God's love around us, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool. And I'm so glad the two of you have been able to plug in that recently, because I think it's one of the coolest things here at United in Christ. Yeah, what a good plug. So if you want to be a part, you come tell us, right?
That's right.
It's worth taking on vacation with you, apparently. I mean, just ask Jeff.
Yeah. That's awesome. Not funny.
It's so good. I'm so glad to hear that. Now just wait till you hear the next book I got lined up. So
okay, all right. Well,
anyways, but as you think about it though, I mean, clearly there are so many ways in which this community leverages itself for the sake of those around us, right? But we are also a place that is home for so many people, and I'm so glad to hear that you have found that for yourselves. But what has that meant for you? What does that look like for you? What has it meant to you to be a part of this community in your own lives now?
I think it makes us more conscious of what's going on around us in the community. We see it happening in our church where we reach out and we see it, and now we're going to see it, I'm sure, hugely in our community. And I think it's made both of us better able to reach out and not worry about what somebody's going to think, or just let them know, hey, this is just through God's love.
That's right. Bingo. Right. And that's so cool. that through this community we become not only God's hands and feet by doing this work, but also we become we have our eyes opened, right? And we begin to see the ways in which God continues to move, and that makes a deep impact on our own lives, right?
It sure does.
Yeah. I mean, I know that like after I gather together with this community, like when I go back out, then it opens my eyes to see all sorts of new neighbors in new ways, right? And it makes me aware of like, okay, this is where the rubber meets the road in the midst of all of this. And that can be really powerful. It could be really intimidating at times, right? It can be really kind of nerve-wracking too. But it becomes a really powerful thing as we then think about how the work we've been doing on ourselves through these studies, how the work we've been doing to meet the needs around us, where that's finally making a difference, and the ways it plays out in real life, right? We don't do it just because it seems like a good thing to do or just because we think we're pleasing God, but because these things do actually make a difference in the world. And it
just makes your heart bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Sometimes we all have a little bit of that Grinch effect, and we need our heart to grow a few sizes each day, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, there are days with the Grinch effect.
You wouldn't know nothing about that, though, Jeff. No, you've never lived under the Grinch effect. No, good.
No.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Good. So now, yeah. As you think about it, though, as you look ahead, right? You've been part of this community for quite some time now, but as you think about what's next, what are your hopes and dreams for this congregation? What are you hoping that the Spirit is going to continue shaking up here at United in Christ? What do you hope God is going to keep calling us to into God's future? Where do you hope to see that unleashed at United in Christ?
I see is opening the doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just welcome.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
No
Everybody is welcome.
Bingo, right? This we have. I think we talked about this maybe with Mike and Annette, but like that is a powerful instrument of our church, and one of our convictions as Lutherans in particular is to say, like, when we open those doors, it is so that grace abounds. Right?
Absolutely.
We are people of grace. And if we can start there, holy cow, what a world of difference that'll make to the world around us, right? To let them know that they have been met by the same grace that we have been met by, and that we have come to know and cherish, right? That unconditioned grace poured out for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. It means we can be meeting all sorts of people right where they're at and not expecting them to come and change themselves when they come through those doors, right?
That's right.
That's powerful. That's very, very
It is
cool.
very powerful.
And yeah, I
and
think
something that always sticks with me with that is, no matter how much you give, you can never outgive God. So if we keep on giving, it's just going to multiply and multiply and multiply.
If we can just keep dishing out the love and the grace that we have come to know, right? It is just going to, this is kingdom building, right? This is about working and holding fast to our little corner of the world for the sake of God's kingdom right here and right now, right? Building it and being a part of it and being a part of God's mission starting today, right? Not waiting for kingdom to come, but rather seeing it constructed before our eyes, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is amazing, truly amazing, when you go to our church on Sundays and feel the love in that congregation.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
And it does not matter who you are. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you look, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
You are there, brother.
Oh, you're preaching next week. Holy cow. But you're spot on, right? And that's what we're about, right? And that's the conviction.
How I feel. I'm telling you.
I'm with you. That's so good. That's so good. I'm so glad to hear that you found it, because I do think that is such a fundamental grounding for us in God's future, right? As we think about where God is calling us, if we can keep to that core, right? If we can let that be our grounding, holy cow, it's going to make all the difference in the world.
It will.
And we'll see so much unleashed. Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. Wonderful. I'll pay you later for that. Thank you.
No,
you're right on. This is good. I give everyone a chance though here at the end. I make sure that everyone gets a chance to share whatever they like with the congregation. So before we wrap up, is there anything you want to be able to say to the folks who are tuning in and listening at home right now? Is there anything you want to say to the congregation, to home? Is there any messages you want to send home right now?
Oh, we just love everybody and miss everybody. Oh, I can't even put it into words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The feeling is
Can't
certainly
wait
mutual.
all back together again.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss you all.
That's for darn sure, right? That's for darn sure. We miss everyone. And we'll look forward to the day when we can get back together. But until then, we're going to do the work we can to make sure everyone who is a part of that community will be there with us, right?
Correct.
And so this is good. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this time together. This has been really, really wonderful. Thanks for just spend this time and doing this reflection. This has been great.
Well, thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, please. My pleasure, my honor right now. So that's all right. But to everyone else at home, thanks for tuning in. God's continued peace and blessings in the days ahead. Jeff and Donna, one more time, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. This has been a blast.
That was our pleasure.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing. And we'll talk to you later. And bye for now.
Take care.